All right, all right. Hello, Eric.
Ring, ring, ring.
Ding,
Beep,
ding,
beep.
ding.
Dude,
Honk, honk.
Hong Kong. Are you, Ty, you caught me at a sweaty moment in time. I'm parked outside in the blistering sun. I had the AC cranked, uh, earlier, just moments ago, trying to cool down the car before I, hopped on the horn with you. But it's not working too well.
Pun intended there. So you're telling me, Eric, you are tapping into this episode from a vehicle?
You could say that this is a drive-through episode, Ty, because yes, I am unfortunately prisoner in the Tesla Model S Plaid Edition.
Well, that's a really weird coincidence, Eric, because I'm also in a vehicle right now. It's a smoking hot day. I just had to put the roof on the Hellcat so that I could create a very quiet environment for this episode. But I think the old Toyota Matrix is going to be my new studio, Eric.
Wow, that's really good to hear, man. There's lots of insulation going on, just in a little cocoon wrapped around me. So I'm excited to pod with you. What
It is a cocoon, dude. But here's the thing: it's quiet, but it's also smoking hot in here. Recording in a car makes me so sweaty. I feel like I'm a little tiny pickle in a toaster oven right now.
or perhaps a little chihuahua or something like that left inside of a car neglected?
Yes, yes. You are empathizing with our canine friends on hot summer days. I appreciate that. I'm empathizing with our salamis and our melted cheddars,
Uh-huh. One of
which,
us has to do it.
yeah,
I wouldn't call
it's.
myself a sandwich sympathizer, but if you want to play that role in this podcast, you're more than welcome to.
I gotta ask Eric though. You'd obviously never leave your dog or your one of your many babies from your baby mamas in a hot car. Would you leave a Subway sandwich in a hot car? And if yes, for how long?
Much like a slow cooker, I would give it a try. Yeah, I don't mind. You ever like go to the beach and leave your sandwich out in the sun for a little minute, just before you split it in half with your partner? Similar idea.
Right, but at the beach, you have the salty air to waft away the bacteria. I think a foot-long sandwich, Eric, in this sweaty prison would be very similar to my two sweaty footlongs in my Sweet Coke sandals right now, which is quickly developing bacteria.
I would, I mean, how long would you prepare anything for a meal? 2 hours max? Like, if you're cooking for more than an hour, there is a serious drop off in terms of like uh, quality or like diminishing returns, let's say. Like if you're
Yeah.
cooking for like 8 hours, it's like the difference between 7 and 8 hours, bubbling around on the stove is very, very small. So I would say around an hour, like the same amount of time it takes to, make a nice little chicken breast or something like that on the
Yeah,
stove.
yeah. Yeah. It's totally asymptotal where your commitment to the meal actually will make the meal worse at a certain point, I would think. Like,
Hmm.
that's why sandwich artists who are working on a sandwich for 8 hours a day, the la that the 12 inches you eat at the 8th hour is gonna be substantially worse than potentially, like, the 1 hour or 2-hour mark.
Yeah, you're 100% right about that.
Thank you. No one
Um,
wants a tired sandwich artist.
no, not at all. Speaking of tired, Ty, I've been ripping around all day today and feeling quite exhausted. Just been running around doing errands, consequently being late for meetings,
Mhm,
taking meetings in the car, on my Chris Black shit. But
mhm.
Ty, I need something to pick me up now. I'm waiting for Bay. I'm picking her up pretty soon, and where should I go eat? What
Well,
should
do
I
you want
drink? What should I eat?
yeah, I would say go for a liquid lunch, not a substantial meal because with inflation, Eric, and supply chain, the only place you're going to get a cheap meal and unlimited vegetables today is the way. Like everyone else has been eliminated. So
Mhm.
I'd say like either eat 12 inches of sandwich or go like fill your stomach with some pale ale.
I will probably do both, to be real honest.
Hell
But Ty,
yeah.
on a hot day like today, it's 30 degrees here in beautiful BC. Are
Hmm.
you toasting your sub still, or are you going for
Dude.
literally a cold cut?
Yeah, does the cold cut lower my body temperature is the question. Uh, I feel like I would still toast because I'm not toasting for the addition of heat, Eric. The heat, bread is a terrible retainer of heat. It's not like my back, which is very sweaty right now, or my LP, who looks like a dime despite 8 years of dating. Bread does not retain heat, and I'm surprised by that because it's fluffy, right? It looks like it should, but
Hmm.
it doesn't. So when I order a foot-long sandwich, Eric, I'm not ordering it toasted for that a little extra heat. If I want to feel that on my tongue, I'll throw in a few extra jalapenos. I'm ordering it
Oh,
for the crunch.
crunch factor. I got you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but Ty, if you grew up in the gutter, you
The
you would
mud,
know
as
that.
Future would say.
Yeah, if you came out the mud, you would know that, we don't have AC. So we have to find clever and creative ways to cool down on a hot summer day. That
Mm-hmm.
might mean, playing at the fire hydrant, busting open a fire hydrant on the street and playing in that, or
Mm-hmm.
sticking your head in the freezer section at the bodega.
Mm-hmm.
Um, or it could be, if it's lunchtime, you could get a ice cold, frozen green pepper sandwich at Subway.
uh, yeah, you could totally cool down if you strategically ordered your sandwich. Like maybe you don't go toasted, but maybe you also get. I feel like the coolest sandwiches on the menu, uh, in the protein section, is your veggie sub, or sorry, like the
Oh,
veggie patty because it's
uh-huh.
frozen in the middle, or
Yeah, exactly.
the tuna fish because they keep that shit on ice all day,
Hmm.
and I feel like its globularness retains its like existing temperature longer.
Hmm. Yeah,
It's basically an ice pack.
yeah, exactly. And you really had me with the veggie patty because we've, noticed time and time again, every time you get it, it's always cold in the middle, even
Hmm.
if you triple toast your sub. So yeah, very good tip. Nice way to cool down with the sandwich.
Hmm.
I have
You
another
should.
idea for you, Ty.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and this might be another benefit of the tuna because if you were to eat a lot of it, say, you might even get some mild form of food poisoning,
Hmm.
and the cold sweats would, really do a number on your body, cooling it
Hmm.
down, at least mentally.
Hmm.
Like you would just mentally like feel cold.
Tuna fish, the gift that keeps on giving.
Hmm.
I
Just
would.
keep
I will
swimming, buddy.
actually just keep swimming. I will actually triple down on the tuna, Eric, because I have one more hypothesis why it's the best sandwich order on a hot day. But you're gonna have to put on your tinfoil hat with me for a minute.
Please. I love my tinfoil. Go ahead.
Okay. They always say that you need to stop eating seafood because there's increasing levels of mercury in seafood, particularly tuna. So soon tuna, especially at the old way, you are getting your daily dose of mercury poisoning. Now,
Hmm.
typically that's bad, but you know what's very good for estimating temperatures? Every thermostat has it in it. That's right,
Oh,
mercury, Eric. So here's what I
wow.
think. Over time, mankind is getting better and better at predicting the temperature outside because of our increased intake of mercury. Crazy, right?
Hmm. Wow, I think you're onto something, dude. And that was a beautifully stretched um way to think about this. Congrats on that, honestly.
Thank you. So, not only is eating a tuna fish sandwich going to help you immediately cooling down the palate, it's going to help you in half an hour by giving you cold sweats, and it's going to help you throughout your life by enabling you to better understand the temperature outside and then react appropriately. Damn,
Speaking
we
of,
found a purpose for the tuna.
wow, finally a purpose for the tuna. Speaking of cold sweats and you know, wanting to die, I guess I just have to turn on my car because I'm sweating like crazy, and I have the AC going. I'm gonna be idling in this
Oh shit.
suburban parking lot now because I have no choice. I have
Yeah,
no
my
choice.
guy doesn't care about petrol prices. He'll run the AC all day.
That's right, dude. I could care less. Speaking of
What
not
part
caring about
does?
prices, though, Ty, I have to tell you
Yeah.
about my a very triggering moment at a sports event that I took part in.
Okay. Uh, you're gonna. Did you take your professional gear, professional attitude to an actual sports game, not just pick
I
up
did.
tennis?
I did. I brought my crafted in Japan UV protective lenses,
Mm-hmm.
my district vision glasses. I did bring those to a CFL football game on Saturday. And Ty, let me tell you, um, the reason why tickets are so cheap is because they know in order for you to like get through the game, you're gonna have to drink.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't sit through this entire like sporting event and not consume alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
And they know this for a fact. So they charge you about $20 for a pint.
Well, that's no news here, Eric. Stadium food and bevy is always a few legs ahead of the rest of inflation.
That's right, Ty.
20
They've
20
they've been inflating.
buckaroos.
That's true. They've been inflating stomachs long before, Daddy Trudeau has been inflating the market.
Hell yeah. The minute you if you think of the circumference of any sports field, and then like the immediate outer ring of it is the body fat percentage jumps so much from off the field to on the field.
Mhm. What was more, my bill at the end of the game or someone's body fat percentage, average body fat percentage of the stadium?
Damn, I gotta go with BMI, dude. At a football game.
Hmm. Uh, yeah,
So you're
inches,
watching.
inches consumed, BM, body mass index. Those are all metrics that Big Rogers Arena uses to calculate their earnings every quarter.
Hmm. I'm sure
But Ty,
BMI is
yeah,
probably used as an acronym of Subway as well, like a buddy munched inches. Like how many inches you munch, buddy?
oh, let's stick to the full words, Ty.
You're our acronym guy on this podcast. I don't even know why I bothered.
Thanks for giving me my flowers. But Ty, I have to tell you about this experience because the drink was only half of the issue, and you know what? It was to be expected because the people who drink are the ones with wallets,
Hmm.
um, in this establishment. But Ty, the other half was the $20 footlong hot dog that I consumed.
Whoo, 12 inches
Gee!
of bratwurst.
12 inches of dog. I was a dirty dog that day.
You are a dirty dog, Eric. Okay, so tell me a bit more about this. Whole wheat bun or white?
Obviously white bun, but no option was given to me on this dog day afternoon.
Already. And how do you sauce this bitch up?
All the above, Ty, always. And let's before I even get to the sauce, Ty, I ordered it by using my hands only, and
You're still on that bit, aren't you?
I'm on that bit. Bay was not impressed. Neither was the minimum wage employee with acne. But I said, let me get a hazy IPA, large, and then I just pointed up my two fingers and I said, and I just like snapped my wrists, and he knew exactly what I was talking about.
Wow. My guy speaks multiple language, Croatian, English, sign language.
Hmm.
I'm impressed, Eric. So you were able to successfully make the order.
I was. He said, "Say less, King. I got you.
Hmm.
Anything for the missus?" I said, "No."
Dude,
and
no girl wants to eat a 12-inch hot dog, especially not in public.
definitely not. She had already got her mini donuts, so we were set
Mhm,
on that front. But I did make my way over to the condiment station. Um, it was double-sided. One side had ketchup and mustard in stock, but no
mhm,
relish.
mhm.
And then the lady behind me said, "Oh, it's out." Uh, and so
Cool.
I had to make my way to the other side of the station where the same lady followed me. And then once I hit the relish on the other side, she said, "Ah, it's just not the right consistency to be put in this tube." And I was
She's
like
not
trying to
wrong.
squirt it on. Yeah, I was trying to squirt it on, and I was already 3 beers in
Mhm,
to this. This is a fourth quarter move to get the foot long.
mhm.
Um, and
My
Ty
boy is feeling hazy from the hazies.
and Ty, I gotta say, once I put some elbow grease into it, the relish really squirted a big green glob on the middle of my footlong. So it covered like 2 inches of it, like it completely. But but I had the problem is I had 10 other inches to cover and I had no idea what to do. Um, so I just kind of like dabbed it on,
Mhm,
really slowly. Um, and then I looked at the lady, she was still waiting for me to complete this task.
mhm.
And she just looked at me with such disgust, like I had did it by accident or something. Like I hadn't like planned to put that much relish on. And then I said,
Mhm.
"Oh yeah," as I walked away.
Uh,
Oh,
that's a certified fresh footlong right there, Eric.
oh, 100%.
I can't believe that the relish industry has not resolved this issue yet. I have never been in a relish situation, whether it be stadium, barbecue, or other, that the relish bottle has not like exploded like a dog crapping all over my hot dog.
Hmm.
Wake up,
Yeah, it's
relish.
wake up, big relish, and innovate, please. Like
Mhm.
the problem is they've been shoehorned into this sauce format because it
Mhm.
goes so well with ketchup and mustard on a hot dog that
You're right.
that they have no choice but to fit in with the other members of the team.
Mhm, mhm.
But really, it's LeBron James and everyone else is uh, what's his name, like Rondo or something.
Yeah, totally. It is you've actually absolutely described it. We got the popular kids, ketchup and must, and they're choosing the format here. They're picking the rules of the game. And relish, despite being a sleeper sauce, has to play along. That's so sad. I think we need relish to be in charge now. If relish was the boss, things would be different. We'd be using little spoons.
Relish is definitely the Bernie Sanders of sauce.
Yeah, he's too rad, but
He's
he's got some
he's
good
too
ideas.
radical, potentially like on his way out.
Yeah,
Oh man.
definitely past its time.
hmm
It's pretty
but Ty,
bonkers, Eric, that they let you serve your own condiments, though. Like only at hot dog stands. Go to any fast food, you're not touching that shit.
oh no way, dude. Because they can't trust people who go to McDonald's to like handle their own sauce.
Hmm.
Um, because they'll just take whatever. But ketchup and mustard at a football game, I mean that's a trustworthy crowd if you ask me.
I guess McDonald's does have free game on the ketchup pump over by the drink machine, which I think is actually not a terrible idea. Like, what if you got to apply sauces at Subway? They just handle the meats and
Mm,
cheeses and veggies, and then you take her over to the condiment section. Pump, 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 pump. There would be no shame in 7 sauces.
mm. Yeah, honestly, that's a good idea.
I know. It's a good idea.
It's a good idea.
Good idea.
Um,
Certified fresh idea.
certified fresh. Ty, you visit suburbs frequently. Are you familiar with the Port Moody Rib Fest?
uh, yes, I am actually. I walked through it once while trying to get to a brewery. Unintentionally, of course. I would never go that close to that many ribs.
They don't serve like tempeh ribs, do they?
No, ribs are like the last the last frontier, the final frontier of the vegetarian industry to recontextualize.
Hmm. Yeah, we've conquered wings.
Hmm.
Um, the problem is though, when the way you guys have like recontextualized wings is kind of like a catch-all for any kind of bite-sized thing. Like
Hmm.
there's no there's no like artificial bone in a cauliflower wing, you know?
Hmm.
So why would you make like an artificial rib? It doesn't make any sense.
It
It's
doesn't
just
make
a
any
corn dog at
sense.
that point.
Yeah, so the rib is kind of untouchable in that sense. It's the last
Wow.
holdout. And honestly, though, ribs are kind of chuggy at this point, don't you think? They're going a little out of vogue.
Um, Potentially. I haven't seen ribs on the menu in quite some time because I don't frequent the keg.
Yeah.
Um, but I think they're making a slight comeback because ribs are for the people, Ty. You know, it's a cheaper meat and it's fun to eat with your hands. It's not like overly fancy for no reason. Um, a lot of kids love it. I think it's a great dish. I think it needs to make a comeback.
Yo, yes, kids love ribs, but the parents of those children hate the ribs. Parents hate this trick when serving kids dinner. It is ribs, man. They make a mess. They get all over your ribs. There's a
Yeah,
reason
that's
it
true.
rhymes with bibs, baby.
Yeah, ribs and bibs. You're right. That is one downside. But I'm excited to like go to Rib Fest again and
Oh,
just like mingle with my fellow meat lovers, my fellow BMT orderers.
yeah, baby. The thing with ribs and a rib fest is that you're really celebrating the different barbecue sauces. All meat festivals are actually just a barbecue sauce festival in disguise.
Mm, well, I don't think so because that's something that a vegetarian would say. But Ty, meat is more nuanced than that. Okay, it's all about how long you cook them for. If they
Mm,
are braised, if they're barbecue, the method of cooking, the how juicy they are by the end of it, the sauce, like you said, the size and meatiness of the ribs. Like, are you getting the um like Slender Man ribs, or are you getting the Marilyn Manson ribs?
I guess there are a few attributes of the ribs
Please
that you are
decipher what
right.
I
I'm
just
not
said.
considering. You're saying, are you getting the boneless rib? Is the Marilyn Manson, and the Slender Man is presumably s- thin ribs, a thin cut.
A thinner, longer one. What's
Yeah,
another like the DJ Academics rib, like the thick boy one?
yeah, yeah. Who's a thick boy? Like a sumo wrestler rib.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Or a
Okay,
little guy Fieri.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a fire rib.
You know what I'm talking about.
Now, I guess I agree with all those attributes, with the exception of the very first one you said, Eric. And after that, I kind of blacked out, anyways. But the first one you said on that long list of characteristics of ribs that we didn't need to hear was cooking time. And ribs are infamous for breaking our one simple rule about cooking time, which is that the longer you cook for, the less you get out of it. There's no ROI on it, as we discussed
Hmm.
23 minutes ago.
That was 23 minutes ago. But the thing here is I'm not doing the cooking.
That's true.
If
You're
someone
not
else wants to
you're
cook
not
for
the
eight
time
hours,
waster.
yeah. If I'm like going somewhere where they've like cooked the entire day before and they're serving to me today at lunch, then or they woke up at like 3 a.m. and did that, then good for them. That sucks to hear, but their ribs probably slap.
Yeah, that's fair. And you're only going to pay like a couple dollars more for their time.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
weird with
You're
cooking times, Eric. Oh, sorry, go for it.
No, no, no. I'm just saying you're paying for their time like $2 for like 8 hours, right?
Yeah,
It's worth it.
yeah. The sweat equity doesn't turn into real income.
No.
I was just thinking about cooking times again, and I think it's really weird that you need to cook things at a certain temperature for them to actually work. Like if you toast your your foot long and you get it like extra toasted, but it's like obviously cooked. But if you just toast it a little bit, it's not really that cooked. But like it's a mixture of time and amount of heat, right? Science 101 with Think Fresh
Mm-hmm.
podcast. So I'm thinking like
Mm-hmm.
if you left your foot long in a hot car for like 2 days, it's
Mm.
still not gonna cook, is it? But it's so hot in there and it's in there for so long. How come that doesn't cook it? Is it not hot
Is it?
enough or not long enough?
Um, I wish I had the answer to this. This is a Think Fresh applied science segment.
Yeah.
I can't think of an answer.
I am not thinking fresh, and it doesn't even sound fresh. But I want to figure this out because it should work. You should be able to, for any amount of time or any amount of heat, be able to cook any meal by leaving it in your car.
Hmm.
And
I
I'm
mean,
thinking this because I'm in the car right now and I'm cooking, baby.
well, we're cooking up a nice little potty for the
Yeah, these
redheads right
ribs are
now.
slow roasted. Whew.
Ty, are we
Hmm.
really gonna pretend like me and you didn't go for a rib like 3 weeks ago, and it was just like they were braised ribs, and
Hmm.
they were so well braised that they were just falling right off the bone.
Damn, they were
Are we just gonna
melting your
are we
mouth.
just gonna forget about that right now?
May the record show that I did not eat any, but I eat with my nose, and I was downwind of this platter, and it was very aromatic.
Oh man, this was a good platter, Ty. Too bad you can
It
have it.
was a good looking platter, holy crap! And the
Holy.
way that your fingers looked mid mid rib, they were just like gooey, but they had this integrity to them. Like you could just like delicately pinch the rib. There's
Hmm.
such contrast there. It's the same thing with like the second half of the 6 inch. It's getting a little bit lighter, or the second half of the foot long. It's a little bit lighter. So now you can be a little bit more dainty with the way you caress it in your fingertips. But your
Hmm.
hand by the second half is covered in those juicy sauces and sloppy tuna juices. So you see that? Can you imagine that beautiful contrast that I'm envisioning, Eric?
Hmm. All I got from
Mm.
this topic, Ty, was that we need to ask our sandwich artist to not cut this up next time,
Yeah, you're
and
gonna
we
just
we need
like
a
dog it back.
we gotta figure out a way to eat the whole foot long without putting our hands down and like not taking it halftime.
Wow.
It's overtime, baby.
Yeah, you got to be a real throat goat to lunge that back. Did they cut your foot long hot dog in half at your boring football game the other day?
Of course not, Ty. That's what I'm getting at. It
Yeah.
came in a long box.
Well, it had custom fulfillment and packaging. That's incredible. How did they
Yeah.
hand it to you? With two hands or one?
They just like slid it down the table.
Mm.
Like they put
How
it in the
did you
tray.
hold it? Yeah.
Well, okay, I pinched it, Ty. Uh okay, so imagine much like a excavator, like the arm kind of comes down and it's like a claw.
Oh yeah. Oh
It
yeah.
was like
Claw
exactly
game.
like that. I clawed it from the top,
Mm-hmm.
being weary of any relish that could get on my fingers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and what I did was I lifted it like from one end. So it was at like a 45-degree angle. One tip of it was in my mouth.
Yeah.
Pause. The other tip was still in the tray. That way, it was like still perfectly aligned with the tray. That way, any drippage would just land straight back in the tray, and it
Mm.
wouldn't land in my lap or like on my hands or anything like that. So it was really meticulous, and it worked out really well. Um, yeah, I would recommend it.
I didn't realize you had a PhD in physics, Eric. That's really impressive.
Thank you.
Like, I didn't expect an answer so good, actually. I'm quite taken aback. I do a similar thing with my footlong though, where while I'm eating it, you don't want it to be perfectly vertical, toppings will fall out, nor horizontal as you don't control the toppings. So you want to cock it in like a 30-degree angle to ensure that all the condiments and the lettuce shreddus bits work their way to the same location, which is hopefully your safety net, aka the paper.
Yes, absolutely.
And I like to
Man.
like cock my arm at the exact same angle while I'm eating. There's like a parallel that happens. The footlong itself actually becomes an extension of my appendage.
Mm, yes, I can picture it perfectly.
I know you
Um,
can. You've seen it.
yeah. You know what's a little bit crazy about
What?
get ready for this bombshell.
Hit me.
You eat a hot dog exact same way you eat a taco.
You with like a pinch or
A bit of a
like
pinch, but I'm also thinking about the head position.
mm, oh
Like
yeah,
uh
you cock the head, right?
like you almost like leave the hot dog slash taco in place and then you move your body around it to eat it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like any movement, any sudden movements might frighten the carnitas in the taco that will fall out.
It must be a quality of V-shaped like food vessels. Both a soft taco, hard taco, and a hot dog kind of take on a U or a V shape,
Mm-hmm.
whereas your sandwich is more of a what would that be, like an L?
Yeah,
No,
well, I
like
mean, yeah, I know what you're saying. I think the listeners do too. But
yeah, they're smart.
tacos and hot dogs, the condiments are placed on top vertically, right? They're just
Mm-hmm.
placed inside
Mm-hmm.
that like opening, whereas like
Yep.
a sandwich, it's tucked in, it's below the fold, so
Mm-hmm.
it's held securely, and therefore you can eat it normally.
Right. The bread acts more of a clasp and less like a bucket.
Yes, precisely.
Interesting. And why do you think there is these like derivations in like topping delivery? Because you'd think all optimized around just a single one that's like most ergonomic and efficient and flavorful, but we still have so many options out there.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a good question. Like tacos start with a tortilla
Mm-hmm.
where you just like plop shit down in the middle, and then like you just pick up the tortilla and you eat
Mm-hmm.
it. So the taco
Yeah.
shape is just like built from necessity, whereas a hot dog is kind of like a twisted sandwich in a way.
Mm-hmm. Like the hot dog starts from the meat typically, and then what you're trying to do is you're trying to find a way to wrap your meat to protect it when
Yes,
you
exactly.
insert it in your mouth.
Hmm. Good call.
Yeah. But the sandwich, that's an interesting one because the sandwich falls somewhere in between. Like you start with the bun, but then the toppings inside are really like the important you want to protect. So it's I think I think we're not going to solve this on this podcast today, but I'm curious what
I
the
don't think so
listeners think.
either.
How do they feel about the philosophy of handhelds?
Hmm.
Um,
Handhelds are unsafe, Ty, and I don't trust them,
no,
especially the
man,
meatball.
especially the meatball. That's a loose cannon, quite literally.
Hmm.
Shoot a cannonball right down on your little white Air Force Ones.
Playing soccer under the table.
Yeah.
Ty, I want to tell you this. I brought meatball not because I wanted to say the soccer joke, but because I want to tell you about the Bachelorette episode that I watched last night. Did you happen to catch that on CTV
I
or
thought
City
about
TV?
tuning into The Bachelorette last night, but I just couldn't make the time. It's one of my greatest regrets.
I'm jealous that Bay didn't make you do that.
Yeah, this
Um,
seems a little off brand for you, actually. Like that show's kind of washed, isn't it?
Fairly washed, but I would say I'm like a new member of the Bachelor Nation. So
Mm-hmm.
uh, this is like my third season ever watching, like maybe second season all the way through. So I'm kind of down to check it out. Um, it's interesting to me. It's like weird and culty, and
Mm-hmm.
like the fact that there's a whole Twitter universe behind it is great,
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
and just
dude, the
like kind of
Bachelorette
cringe.
zeitgeist is so interesting.
Yeah,
It's really an enigma.
mhm, I agree. But I bring it up because you know how at the beginning of every episode or every season, like the bachelor or bachelorette has to sit and wait for all the guys or girls to come through the door and like they introduce themselves and
And
say
they,
what
yeah,
up.
yeah, and they
And
show up
they
in
always have
like
to,
weird costumes, right?
yeah, they do anything they possibly can for attention.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and one person, self-described meatball enthusiast, that was his title on the screen, pulled up with a looked like a like 3 foot long meatball sub. Like it
No.
was huge. He came out of the limo with us. It looked like a party sub, like a giant sub from Subway, but it was the meatball. And he like I just zoned out when he brought that out. I couldn't take my eyes off the screen. I don't know. I don't
Mm-hmm.
remember what he even said, but he probably just was hungry and decided to split it with the boys once he made his way into the villa.
Hell yeah. I feel like it's a very smart move on opening night. If you're pulling up in a limo to a frat house filled with like 17 other dudes, you're gonna make some friends with a 3 foot long meatball sub.
Hmm. Maybe no girlfriends, but at least 10 guy friends. So that's a win in my books.
No, nobody's there for love, Eric. No one's actually there for love. They're there to make friends and build their following.
I hope to God this bitch don't fall in love with me.
Like, I want to make it as far. It's actually the art of the lead on, in a sense. You want to lead on her as long as possible so that you
Hmm.
may stay on the show and build your cult following and get to know the
Hmm.
other fellas.
Yeah, the art of the lead on while somehow like making them dump you. That's the way to do
Mm-hmm.
it.
Mm. You want to be runner up. You don't want to be in a awkward proposal situation. You want to be like second last episode. You dip
Yeah,
before
exactly.
no one wants to be the last person at a party.
Hmm. You want to show up late and leave early.
Exactly.
Hmm. Wow, a lot of parallels to dining in at Subway too.
No kidding. Yeah.
Okay,
Big
buddy. Well,
allies.
big allies. Ty, we gotta cut her right here because I'm sweating too much, Ty. I might have had a meatball sub. That's how much I'm sweating right
Yeah, buddy. I am so clammy right now. I'm dehydrated. I think I need to go like to the drink machine and get some Gatorade.
now. Get this guy some electrolytes.
Mm,
Stat.
stat. All right, King.
Okay,
Well, it was
buddy.
a pleasure recording with you as always. Thank you to the Breadheads for joining us on this hot episode, this toasty episode. Just a couple of car guys hanging out in their vehicles.
Mm-hmm. 2 whips, two
Mm-hmm.
guys, no sandwiches.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, we better do better.
We better do better. I don't know what that means. Is
Do
that a
better.
Drake line?
It sounds like a Drake caption.
Yeah, it
You know what?
does.
Honestly, never mind.
You... Think fresh, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you
Bye
next week.
bye.
Ciao.